So here we go, my PTS feedback, guys. I'm going to do this video. Quick disclaimer, I'm turning comments off because I quite frankly can't be bothered with them. Not as a whole, but the minority. You know what I'm talking about if you're watching the streams. If any of you want to discuss this with me at all, you know where I am in my DMs, and any adults that can have adult conversations are welcome. However, with that said, I do have some thoughts and some opinions of where we're at currently with Escalation and the prototype gear that I want to discuss with you today in this PTS feedback. And I haven't had chance to really try the other stuff I'd normally try, like the gear sets and the new exotics and things like that. So unfortunately, I haven't got a lot to say about that. We'll quickly nip that in the bud. Now, the gear set looks like something that's quite exciting. Looks like that it could be, at first, I thought like a new birth of hybrid builds, but as for the exotics, I really haven't taken a look at them, used them or anything, so I'm sorry if you're looking for that sort of info. I haven't got it. I have played with the new retaliation features though, and we have sunk a ton of time into escalation and prototype gear. So I'm going to start with prototype gear. This is where the biggest complaints are coming from, and I just need to remind people that the purpose of escalation and the prototype gear was for the people that are at the end game. This is who it was aimed for. A lot of confusion in chat about that and in people's opinions. It's as if everybody wants it now, so we need to get out of the way. This is for the end game, and yes, it's added another layer on. Yes, it's a long enough journey as it is to then add that layer on, but a lot of these sort of complaints have been answered in the way that expertise is having a look at. So expertise sort of journey is going to become shorter with all the quality of life changes in recent years, with how quick you can get your proficiency up now, the proficiency events, the expertise events, stuff like that, on top of an expertise adjustment. Hopefully the old true end game, which was expertise, becomes a lot shorter now to fit in this additional sort of add-on to the new end game, if that makes any sense whatsoever. But that's what's in my mind. That's how we're judging this. And with that said, I feel like they're not actually too far away from getting this right. And another point we need to remember, that this is just an idea. This is a big thing for a game like this. There's no way they're going to get it right first time. So they've kind of done what they've done to get the feedback to get it this far, and the private test server, sorry, the public test server over the weekend has given them a lot more food for thought. And then when it's released in next season, they're going to get even more feedback. This is going to be something that is going to obviously adapt over time and get balanced and things like that. So I'd like to think that in the end, it's not going to actually increase your grind time to get to this end game. However, if it does slightly, what it's aiming to do is just to give you a bit more of a challenge and more to do when you get there. So that is what escalation and prototype is. It's not level 50 hidden, how I see it. A lot of people are saying it's level 50, like a hidden level 50. I can't get on board with that, just because if it was like a level 50 bump, then it'd make everything now redundant, and this doesn't do that. I've played games that do that. I've played Destiny. I've seen how they make you start from scratch and regrind. This isn't doing that. Like if you actually think about it and look at it, when next season starts, you're going to be able to play the game exactly the same how you have been with all your builds. So I don't see how it's like a hidden level 50. This is literally the add-on at the end with escalation for the extra challenge and more power. What it does do, and there has been some feedback about this, and I kind of do agree with it, is that it kind of does break your game in a way, because you're going to be in a position now where you can become very powerful for what's currently in the game. Now, power is something that people have been asking for. People like power, but apparently over the weekend, people don't like the sounds of that for some reason. But yeah, things like, once you get into this and you get into the grind, things like legendary missions are going to start becoming a breeze. Open world's going to be a breeze. There will be some balancing on it as well. So you're not going to be able to take this into raids or anything like that, or PvP to take advantage. But I've tested the things like legendaries with the prototype gear, and yeah. But let's go further into it. So what, for people wondering what the hell is prototype gear, the PTS is over now. I had to go out after stream today, come back, can't get in to show you. But prototype gear is basically an upgrade to your current gear. You can either max expertise your gear and then upgrade it for free into prototype, or you can grind for it using Escalation. Now, the big problem right now for grinding for it in Escalation is that there's so many items in the game that to actually find something that you want is going to be very, very difficult. Very difficult. Near on impossible. Definitely 100%. However, we have discussed this with the developers, and I've been speaking to Berzy in chat, and targeted loot is something that they're looking at, and I think although that probably won't be here at launch, that is something that they're going to focus on, because I think with targeted loot, at least it can take out a lot of that basic impossibility, right? Because think about how many items are in the game. I completely agree with that, and I think if they can get it on daily targeted loot, so if you think you're taking on Escalation, you're taking on a mission, and on that mission there's Striker, and you're going to get pieces of prototype drop for Striker, at least then you've got a good chance of getting something that you want. And you're definitely going to start getting things that you want with targeted loot. So that's one thing they can do that will fix that, and obviously increase the drop rate as well, is potentially something else that they could look like. Because right now, when I was playing it across the weekend, for me personally, the drop rate of prototype gear in Escalation was very, very low. However, Stacy, who I was playing with, and Rick, they were getting a lot of it. It's RNG based, right? So an increase in drop rate, targeted loot, personally, I think that will fix it how it stands. Secondly, the increase in it from level 30 expertise gear. That is a huge grind to get all of your stuff to level 30 currently, 100%. But I don't think we can truly judge that until we've seen the changes to the expertise system. They have spoke about changing the system for a while now. So with launch, I believe there is some changes coming. Don't quote me on that, but I think I've seen there is changes coming from the launch of this new Escalation and prototype gear. So if we do have some expertise change, hopefully even more in time, then that won't be so much of a grind. And for people that are at the end, and how I see it is people that are at the end game will be aiming to upgrade their current builds, and then the people that are newer to the game will only really have RNG, but then that RNG can be very favorable, especially with like targeted loot and stuff. And they'll be at the end game when you get there that you'll kind of upgrade your builds and get them all min-max and everything. And that's the other complaint. People want max rolls, and how it currently works, it's quite, I'm going to say, impossible to get a max roll prototype build. I watched a feedback video from IKEA. He did a very good one on some of the points that he touched on. And one of the points that I liked was the Division 2 right now is great in a way that everybody can have the same build quite easily. And with prototype gear as it currently stands, that's not the case. And I agree with that. And there's got to be some way to make that a thing with prototype gear. So as it currently stands, if you were to upgrade one of your pieces to prototype gear, then you're guaranteed one max roll and the other rolls stay the same. It's still going to be better than what you had. Every time you roll, it's going to be better than what you had in some way, but people want the weapon damage and then they get the weapon handling, say. They're not going to be happy with that, and then they're going to re-roll again, and the odds of actually getting a god roll are very, very small. Now, one thing I've suggested, I'm not saying this is going to be the case at all, but maybe add a system once you've upgraded your prototype gear that you can either re-roll it with another guaranteed improvement, and once you've re-rolled it a couple of times, it's going to be god roll and add a resource, or just make it so you can optimize it, I guess. I don't see that being a problem. Let's make it once you've upgraded prototype gear, it can be optimized. There's loads of things they can do to fix that, is what I'm saying. I wouldn't get too hung up on this. I can't get god rolls easily because the PTS, it wasn't easy. This is sort of feedback they're getting that they're going to use to make adjustments. And for me, all of that is going to get fixed one way or another. I doubt you'll be waiting too long for it. I can't, I'm not a developer, but I can't see how something like that is going to take months or seasons to do. That's something that they could probably fix relatively quickly. Probably not on launch though, as this is coming out in a few weeks. But for that, we just got to wait. That's definitely something that they need to fix with it. We want to have god rolls. We want to all be able to farm for the same builds. That is a good thing about the Division 2. But at the same time, we do also want to grind, and this should be kept for the end game. So people that are feeding back and they just want it all now, I don't think that should be the case, because this is made for people that are at the end game. And if you just let everybody have it now, then in effect, you've just turned it into something for casuals and everybody again, which is basically 90% of the content they give us. This is one bit of content for the people at the end of the game to challenge you and give you more of a grind. So it's a balancing act that they need to find, and that's my views on it. And the reason why comments are off, people for whatever reason, don't like me having my views, but they're my views. There's definitely work needed. I don't think it's as bad as some people are thinking it is, though. There's just some adjustments. There's some balancing to do. There's time investment. There's making sure you're not investing too much more time. But again, this is the end game. This is for people that are at the end of the game. They've got max expertise. This was kind of thought with them in mind. So we do need to bear that in mind. As a whole, though, prototype gear seemed quite good. The final thing that I think really needs adjusting, this is the thing that I had the biggest issue with personally. We played about, I want to say 30 plus hours of Escalation, and it's challenging. They nailed it. Now, Escalation in itself, you could maybe tweak it, of course, but honestly, if Escalation came out the way that I played it on the PTS, I'd be very happy with it. It is very challenging. If there's any tweaks whatsoever, we still need to keep the challenge. We don't want to make this easy. The whole point of this content was it would challenge the most hardcore of players, and it certainly did that. Ticked all the boxes. It was hard. Very hard. We ran out of time because how I was testing it, I wanted to see how far could we get without prototype gear. We got to about tier 5 without prototype gear. Then I wanted to see how far we could get with prototype gear, but not max level augments. If you know what the augments are, we'll talk about them in a minute. And we got to about 8, 9. At that point, we were struggling. So we started to upgrade our augments, but ran out of time. But in that process of upgrading the augments, I found my biggest issue with them. So when you're taking on challenging content, you like to make adaptations to try and overcome, and you're relearning it as well. So once you've done the grind, because it is going to be a grind to be able to take on like the high tiers of Escalation, once you've done that grind to be in a position to take on those tiers, how it stands now is if you want to make slight adjustments, you've got to re-grind again. It's like a grind on top of the grind, and that bit there I think is a big issue. I think once you've got to the point where you've got the prototype gear, you got your prototype build, and you've got in mind the augments you want to try and things like that, you've got them leveled up, the grind kind of needs to stop there. We should be in a position where we can switch and change augments without having to regrind it. How augments work right now is once you put an augment on the prototype piece, you got to level it up to level 10 to get the full benefit. And if I want to change that augment, because I might get it wrong, I might think I want to take this on with 3 of this augment and 3 of that augment, but then when I test it, it's not working. So what I actually want to do is change some of the augments. How it stands now is when I change it, I've got to level it all back up again, and that's pretty much a grind to get it all the way back to 10, rather than what I think it should be is I should be able to at that point just change the augment and go at it again, because that's part of the challenging content. You want to adapt, you want to overcome it, right? And it kind of prevents you from doing that with the current system. So that's my biggest issue with the prototype gear, and I'd like to see changes there around the augments and the leveling system on it. I don't know how they do that. A few suggestions for me would be, do you need a level at all at that point? You've grinded for the prototype gear. Do you have to level it up? Can you just have access to augments, have a cost to re-roll, and once you've re-rolled them, you just get the max value? But I do see what they're doing with it. Once you've got the prototype, you've got to use it to improve it. And if you're going to do that, then well, let us improve it. But once we've improved it, make it so it's like you're leveling up the prototype piece. If you get the prototype piece to level 10, it doesn't matter what augment you put on there, you're going to be max level all the time. That would be something else that they could do. But that's where my biggest problem with it was. Other than that, though, again, that's surely something that they can tweak. That might not be something they could do for launch, though. That's probably something they could tweak down the line for sure. And I think that does need tweaking. But that's pretty much it from me for the prototype gear and Escalation. This is something I've been craving personally. I've wanted a new challenge. So this is where when we collide as a community and we all want different things, I'm part of the community that really wanted a bigger challenge, and I love the grind. I know I've been grinding this game now for however many years, and it's a big part of it for me. I like the grind. So the fact that there's a grind coming back to it with more challenging content, it hits the nail on the head for me. And it's just about balancing it more than anything, and I'll be happy. The last thing I'd want them to do is to make this really easy where they remove the grind and just basically give us all the power right away, and we're just going to be going through Escalation tier 10 every week at ease. Because if they do that, the content's ruined for me, and they might as well have just not even bothered. So it is a balancing act. They've got to take all feedback into consideration, and this is my feedback. And I do think that with some fine adjustments, they probably answer all all of the complaints that I'm seeing from the community about it. You do need to think about the time invested, because not everybody gets to play the game all day. We get that. People have real jobs, as I keep on getting told. I get that. Honestly, with the real job comment, there's people that work that get to actually play this game more than I do. I'm not even joking. This is my job. I spend more time making videos and working in Discord than I do getting playing the game, doing things I want to do. It sounds crazy, but it's true. And yeah, you gotta think about things like that. It's a huge balancing act, and I think after the PTS, once it's launched, once we get everybody on it and all that feedback, that's when we should be making major changes. I don't want this to turn into a thing like the old seasonal characters turn into. Again, something that I was interested in seeing and we never even got to see. I don't think that will happen, but the community right now, the backlash on this is like that. And I don't think there's any real need for it. I think we just need to calm down. We just need to treat this for what it is. It's a test server. They're testing something new. It's a big change, but it is for the end game, and we need to see it to test it properly as a whole, not just watching YouTubers like myself and watching streams. You need to try it for yourself. And this is the other thing. When it does come out, it's not something that even I'm going to be able to do right away. I ain't going to go tier 10 on week 1. It's not going to happen. I've got to grind in order to do it, but that's part of the plan. It's giving us people more of a grind. So that's all I'm going to say about Prototype and Escalation. Big thumbs up from me. Balancing needed for sure. Let's get it right, and this is going to be something that hits the spot for sure. I do think that. Apart from that, the only really thing I did was Retaliation. So we got Retaliation changes coming in the next season, and you can't really go wrong with the changes that they've done, because all they've practically done is add Black Tusk to it, and they've made quality of life changes. So if you like Retaliation now, you're going to like Retaliation then. You can now charge up to 3 Retaliations. You can do 3 back-to-back, which I think is pretty good. Black Tusk is fun to go against in Retaliation, and they've added loads of new blueprints to Black Tusk. You can now get like the Eagle Bearer blueprint. You can get the Ravenous blueprint. You can get the Master Mission blueprints. So basically giving them out now, so you don't need to do that content. There's obviously some opinions about that. I have an opinion about that. I've always been for not giving away the raid exotics and things like that. But at the end of the day, with how long we are into the game now, I think this is a very good move. Let people have the weapons and replace the raids with something else. And it has been confirmed they are going to replace the exclusive raid content with something else. So I'm all happy with that. No problem from me whatsoever. The raids are going to eventually get some new exclusive stuff that's permanent, is what I read from Bersy in chat, and it's kind of what Yannick said in the stream as well. So that might not be from next season, might be something we need to wait for, but it is coming. Happy with that. Retaliation change is really good. And if you didn't see my video the other day, we're going to be getting descent comms in Retaliation as well, which was quite a good surprise. A lot of people complain about the descent comms from speaking to people. They don't like descent, but they want them. They want all the comms, and they can't be playing descent to get them. You can now get them through Retaliation as well. So some huge quality of life changes to Retaliation. And I don't think anybody can really complain about what's coming with that. I think that's just, yeah, good work. Good work. We didn't really get anything else. So, like, in terms of classified assignments that are coming in a new season or anything like that, we didn't get to test those out at all. The only other thing that I could have tested out was the new gear and things that are coming. But like I said, I was just so focused on Escalation because I was so excited by it. We spent a whole weekend playing it. You might have watched the streams. It was absolutely challenging. It was far more challenging than I expected. And yeah, it was good. It was great fun. I can't wait for the new season. I'm just a little bit nervous about how much dumbed down it's going to be, because everybody that, you know, it's still going through their journey wants to be able to do tier 10 from day one. So it depends how it releases. I hope they keep it challenging. I hope they find a very good balance. I am excited by it. I think it's going to be great. I just wish that we could just all like get along and give feedback and respect other people's opinions. I like to think I respect yours, but here we are making a video where I got to turn off comments, because if I don't, you're just going to tell me how I can't have an opinion and only your opinion matters. So again, if anybody wants to discuss this with me, DMs on Discord, I'm happy to discuss and share more feedback. I have shared every bit of feedback that I've mentioned in this video today to the team. That's what we do when we play the PTS. We play it, give feedback. I've done that. I've shared a lot of your feedback as well. We've had some this is only like the minority where I've got to turn off comments. Many of you do just discuss things properly, and we've had some good discussions over the weekend, and I think we came up with a good bit of feedback to give the team. So that was our job this weekend. We got it done. Thank you for those that jumped in and did that with me. It was good fun. I'm a little bit exhausted now because of everything else, so I'm going to take some time off today. I'm just going to chill and play Marathon, and we're going to be back live tomorrow, back on the main game, and we're not going to talk PTS now until the new season. Not at all. We're not going to talk the new season now until it just lands. I'm very excited by it. We're going to have the Division Resurgence first from the 31st, and then we go straight into the new season after that. I believe it shouldn't be too long after. But yeah, I'd normally say at this point, comment down below if you have anything to add, but feel free to reach out to me. I think in our Discord, we're having some good adult conversations. Come and have a discussion there. And yeah, thanks for watching. Until the next video, until the next stream tomorrow, take care, everyone.